Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it?
It is. I feel very lucky.
Because of the education or because of the architect?
Oh, everything. Beautiful place to study.
Yeah.
Great people. And I think one of the best things about this college is you're allowed all over the grass.
I was reading your book and you're saying at 19 you had a scholarship to be part of the army, join the army. What led you to that decision?
I think growing up as part of a service family sort of laid the foundations for that in some ways, I suppose. My father was in the RAF, my mum had been in the RAF previously, my brother was in the army, and I was attracted to that lifestyle of being part of a bigger team. There's a good mix of sort of technical stuff versus adventurous stuff versus logistical challenges, all of that.
Wow.
And I did feel a sense of service and duty as well, that's always been an important part of sort of life. And so, age 15, 16, I pretty much signed my life away when I got the scholarship, that I'd, go to university on the scholarship, come out, go to Sandhurst on a commission, and then I'd serve for 6 years, which I look at it now, that's quite a massive decision to make it at that age.
Yeah.
And I didn't end up going into the army because because of an injury. I damaged my knee playing hockey sort of 4 weeks into my first term here at university.
Great.
And so it was a decision that was kind of made for me in some ways of actually you're not going in because you're not fit enough to now. And I look back on that and I'm actually glad that happened for a number of reasons really. I think actually I wasn't suited to the army. I think fundamentally if you have to be able to essentially kill someone, as part of your role, I don't think I could do that now. And there's certain campaigns that I haven't believed in, and I couldn't be a part of that.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that have happened to me in my life where stuff hasn't gone to plan, actually I look back on it and something really cool's come out of it, whether it's a lesson, whether it's meeting someone, or kind of just really rich, interesting experiences, or deeper kind of insight or understanding into something or to myself.
That's fabulous.
So a lot of, it feels like lots of things. I've had lots of ups and downs in my life, but I kind of have learnt to, even if it's retrospectively, sort of embrace those downs or the bits where it hasn't gone to plan.
But what is it that you love about the outside and in nature? And
Outside is my happy place. I love nature. I love being a part of it. Sometimes you feel like you're sort of being held by it. At other times it feels like you're just sort of getting boshed along by it, if it's stormy or whatever. And it's all those different things. It's interesting, it's fun, it teaches you about yourself, it gives you space, it calms you down, it gets you excited, it heals things. It's kind of so many things to me. But I think at the root of it, it's sort of just essential. It is about an essence of something. Well, like, you need it. I think without time and space outside, I couldn't be. I just couldn't be, full stop, Yeah. And last year I had a breakdown, like full-on breakdown. I was ready to drive into trees and eyeing up the knife block and things, just at my absolute lowest ebb. And to spend time outside, to be in the garden, even if it was just standing in the garden, just feeling the grass beneath my feet and the sort of the sun on my face, or whether it was picking some fruit that had grown or chopping something or whatever it was was healing. Part of that was healing. I think it grounds you in the here and the now as well. I think that's
like
really
a
important.
mindful meditation.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. You can feel the warmth.
Isn't it lush?
Yeah.
Isn't it lush?
What's important? Is it the process or the outcome, or is it 50-50 for you?
I think it's ultimately all about process and about the journey. There's a proverb that I've always had on my boats when I've been out rowing. The journey is the reward. And
lovely.
It's almost regardless of where you end up, what the outcome is.
Yes.
Hopefully, if you've got that mindset, then you're going to come away having sort of felt fulfilled or learnt something from it, or you're going to have experience and hopefully richness and things.
You are. Not hopefully, you are.
Yeah, I think so. And so my the London to London via the World journey, I was picked up off the Atlantic, which was kind of the penultimate stage. I was picked up off the Atlantic before a hurricane came. I was about 600 miles from making land. And so some people sort of said, oh, you're going to go back and do it again. And was that a hard decision not to go back and do it again?
Yeah, I
like,
wanted that.
No, because we've fulfilled all the objectives. You know, if we go, come home safely, have a huge adventure, inspire kids on the way, if they're the sort of the named goals, we'd done all that in bucket loads.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel I needed to. So I think that's a really good example that it's not about the outcome, it's about what's happened on the way.
Well, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I know. So I'm up here on there, and we're really brilliant, and so brilliant on our team. Yeah, brilliant.
How good were you?
So brilliant.
Sounds like you were having fun. So where are we heading to now, Sarah?
Let's go down to the river.
The river.
Yeah. Take these, I'll have these. Leaving the dock, tick. Picking up the camera guy, tick.
Having fun,
tick.
So when you were at sea, rowing across the Indian Ocean, and
Much like it is today, really. Yeah.
same green kind of trees, how did you stay alert and like kind of present and not kind of just go a bit loopy? I mean, I know you did a little bit, as you're saying in your book.
Yeah, sometimes you can just go loopy. But it's quite a tricky thing to manage yourself and the boat, sort of physically, mentally, emotionally, sort of everything,
That's a lot.
logistically, by yourself for a long period of time, under challenging circumstances too. So I guess there's a number of things, really. One is trying to keep perspective about the day. I do this thing called Good Things About the Day.
The gratitude again.
Yeah, totally. And just making sure that I was trying to reframe stuff. So even if I had a crap day, it might be, thank goodness today's over, or I'm alive, or the boat's okay.
Yeah.
I'd have treats from home, little letters from home. I would talk to myself, sing to myself,
What did you
talk
sing?
to animals.
What did you sing?
What did I sing? I'm pretty good at, full rendition of The Lion King. But all sorts. I'd recite poems to myself and I'd learn them and then, recall them in times of needing. I think you should row a couple of strokes on your side. There we go. Hello, geese.
Oh, look at those.
Talk to the animals as well. People were confused as to why I didn't eat the fish. Like, the fish are my friends.
Yeah, fish are friends.
They live beneath your boat and they'll crowd around your boat. So you, well, I certainly did. I kind of get used to seeing them. You get used to seeing certain fish characters.
Really?
So I didn't want to eat the fish.
No.
I think sort of mindfulness has always been important to me, even before I knew what mindfulness was,
And
if
what
that
is
makes
it to
sense.
you? Yeah, what is mindfulness to you?
It's about being present, I think, trying to be aware of your body and what you're feeling, the sensations, and trying not to judge them. So that's not always an easy thing to aim. That's not always an easy thing to attain, but the intention is there, and bit by bit, so long as you can do it from time to time, I think that's really good. And likewise with meditation, being in the moment, and I guess affirmations too. Just mantras, repeating things out. That's handy.
It's back to that thing of mental health again, isn't it? It keeps coming up. It's like, it's kind of, if we can manage our mental and emotional well-being, then a lot of our life is a lot more manageable. It's about getting here and here, getting that sorted.
Yeah, I think so. Manageable and hopefully sort of enjoyable as well, because you're going to be more present and able to deal with the knocks, and therefore you're going to be more open to the joyous stuff and the good stuff.
As a woman, and as an out gay woman, did you feel in some of the places that are hostile to LGBT plus rights, did you feel that at all? Were you aware of...
So I met my partner Lucy partway through my expedition. So in 2013 I met her, and I was then away for the best part of sort of nearly 2 years, I suppose. Most of that was spent out on the ocean. Through the Aleutians, I found, even though it's Alaska where same-sex marriage was not legal at that time, people would just seem to be very accepting and just gentle. They didn't impose anything particularly on me as to opinions. But through the Bible Belt sort of Midwest America and the prairies in Canada, I did find find a little bit of hostility, even if it wasn't directed towards me, but I'd hear and see other people expressing whatever their views were, which weren't always positive. And I'd think, oh, I'm going to try and avoid telling you that I'm going out with a woman if I can. And it was actually the time, it was a pretty seminal time. It was the time when same-sex marriage in the States was being legalized state by state. And so it suddenly became quite, what's the word? It just seemed quite powerful, the idea that I was literally traveling over a state boundary, and the idea, wow, in this state, Lucy and I, we're a legal couple. In other states, thinking this just isn't allowed. That felt difficult. And so we put a little rainbow flag on the bike. But I noticed actually in New York, I stayed in a hotel, and I stayed in a hotel for a couple of weeks whilst I was there, and I left the bike in the basement, and when I came back to it, the rainbow flag had gone. So I don't know if someone had taken it because they wanted it or taken it because they had issues with it, which seems weird because New York, of all the places, it felt like a breath of fresh air to get there and see, people of all walks of life, colours, nationalities, sexual orientation, just being themselves. That felt really wonderful.
Yeah. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
I've heard that one a few times before.
Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. You have been away quite a lot with your adventures. What does home mean to you?
That is a really interesting question.
Oh, good.
I was having this chat with someone just the other day. It feels like home's always meant different things to me because I moved about a lot as a child, being in the RAF, and I was at boarding school for a few years. So home was always something a little bit different. And I think as I've grown up, it's kind of also been different things, really. And I've said that a lot, but like when I was out on my journey, home would be both the place that I was with my bike or my boat, and that would be home, and it would be this very small world, but equally home would be this other concept, back home as well, and somewhere I didn't plan to go to, but I ended up going there. And since meeting Lucy in 2013, home has really become that line from Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros. Home is whenever I'm with you. That's probably the place where I feel most at home. Wherever we are is us being together. And I hope it kind of always is that, really. I think I really like that concept that, because I suppose I've never felt particularly rooted anywhere, and that now I feel like we are the roots, we are our roots, and that they can survive and flourish anywhere. Home is something inside of you, and that's got to be your ultimate sort of sanctuary, really, is within. Can I have a Magnum White, please? A White Magnum.
Are we getting filmed?
I had an affinity with Japan for some obscure reason. I don't know if it's a past life thing or whatever. And when I was reading your book, that you accidentally booked into a sex hotel.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
How did you discover that? What was it like? Kind of a big swing in the room, chains on the wall, or and then it must have been quite a shock.
I did have a bit of a shock. Yeah, mirror on the ceiling.
No.
It wasn't a drinks cabinet so much as a dildo cabinet.
Yeah. Literally, was it kind of?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And the lady at reception, there wasn't really a reception, but whoever I spoke to and said, can I come and stay here tonight? And I'm in my lycra and my bike's there, and I'm a bit smelly and so on. And she was a bit confused that I wanted to stay there the whole night and that I would be alone. That only my bike could be coming into my room with me. So yeah, that was an experience.
You were in Japan on the coastline of the tsunami. How did that affect you personally? How did it?
Yeah, that was one of the points in the expedition where I felt that it was all futile. I just kind of went, geez, people have lost their homes here.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that. You're seeing this kind of post-apocalyptic setting and reminders of how they are people's homes. That is literally lives have been lost and livelihoods have been lost and all that kind of means. And I sort of questioned what I was doing. I thought, is this actually worth it? Should I be going and doing something more meaningful and helpful towards others and so on. And I thought about it, and I did decide in the end, actually, I would keep going.
Good.
Because even if that wasn't directly helping people that had suffered a big disaster like that, actually to other people, the stories that I could be sharing and the lessons and things that I'd learned and could share, well, that can be powerful and helpful, transformative, or whatever, useful, or all those things. And so there was that sense, I guess it's just another perspective, isn't it, of just kind of going, well, this is another reminder that you need to be grateful and make the most of things, and really just kind of have no expectations about anything, because
Yes.
I don't know, in an instant we could all be gone.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a really poignant part of the journey, and definitely gave me a kind of a reframe, I suppose.
And has that continued, do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's one of the really cool things about travel, is that you are meeting people and you are seeing them and hearing their stories, and that can only stay with you and affect you. There's this wonderful line in a poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson, so the poem Ulysses, and he says, "I am a part of all I have met." And I love this idea that all those things that I've seen, the stories that I've heard, the people that I've met, well, they're all a part of me somehow. They're all a part of that journey.
Yeah. So, who...
The belief that you're weird, or that Emily was eating foreskins?
That's a good conversation to listen in on, isn't it?
What did they say?
Is it that you're weird, or you believe that Emily is eating foreskins?
So who or what inspires you?
Oh, the classic. I get inspired by lots of people and lots of things. So nature, for one.
Yeah.
I love being out in nature, and that gives me energy and focus and creativity and just a sense of. My parents, they inspire me.
Oh.
And I've got a really dear friend, Christine Hellinger, Chrissy. She and her twin sister set up the breast cancer awareness charity Copperfield after Chrissy was just diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer when she was 23. So they're the same age as me. And I've become very good friends with them both, and they both inspire me hugely, hugely. But I think I kind of draw inspiration from all sorts of places as well. You know, daily people inspire me, or stories that you read. I'm quite open to that.
So, what does love mean to you?
Oh my gosh. That warm, magic, fuzzy feeling inside at being loved and being in love with somebody. It is just indescribable, isn't it? It's delicious. It's so special.
Okay, so we're going to ask some quick-fire questions.
Okay.
And it's just literally quick-fire. Don't think about it. Would you rather be 9 to 5 or a punk rocker with flowers in your hair?
Punk rocker flowers in my hair. Totes.
Totes. Land or sea?
See?
Bikes or boats?
Ooh, boats.
To be young and fit or old and wise?
Old and wise? Because then you've had the young and fit, haven't you? Yeah.
Good one. Ukrainian babka cake or fruit crumble?
Fruit crumble.
Jazz or classical?
Ooh, classical.
Antique or brand new?
Yeah, classical. I'm going to stay with that.
Okay. Antique or brand new?
Antique.
What the world needs now?
Is peace.
Cool. Thank you, Sarah. That's it. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you for coming out to play.
Oh, thank you for coming out to play.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.